On the Buses is more than just a sitcom, it is a cultural phenomenon that brought joy and laughter to millions of viewers worldwide. But behind the bright smiles and comedic brilliance lies a series of tragic and untold stories about the beloved cast members. While they lit up the screen with their performances, many faced unimaginable struggles in real life, sudden illnesses that struck like cruel fate, tragic accidents that altered destinies, and even lingering mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. As the stage lights dimmed, the shadows of heartbreak quietly took their place, leaving behind stories that are both haunting and deeply moving. In this video, we delve into the hidden truths behind On the Buses. From their remarkable careers to the heartbreaking tragedies and the enduring legacies they left behind, this is more than just the story of a legendary show, it is a tribute to the stars who made On the Buses a timeless icon in the hearts of fans everywhere. Anna Karen, born in 1936, became a household name as Olive Rudge in On the Buses, appearing in all 74 episodes from 1969 to 1973. Her portrayal of the dowdy, comedic Olive was iconic, earning her adoration for her impeccable comic timing and relatability. Yet Karen's personal life starkly contrasted the humor she brought to the screen. Married to actor Terry Duggan, the couple faced financial hardships and lived modestly, often struggling to make ends meet. Though they had no children, Karen was deeply involved with her extended family, a source of joy amidst her own challenges. Her career never quite escaped the shadow of On the Buses, and she was often typecast, which frustrated her ambitions as an actress. Tragically, Anna Karen died in a house fire in February 2022 at the age of 85. The fire, suspected to have been accidental, claimed her life in a manner as shocking as it was devastating, robbing British television of one of its most beloved comedic talents. Sicily Courtage, born in 1893, played the role of Mum in On the Buses for 7 episodes in 1969. A seasoned performer whose career spanned the golden age of theater and cinema, Sicily exuded charm and warmth in every role she undertook. Behind her dazzling smile, however, lay the quiet struggles of a life dedicated to show business. Her marriage to actor Jack Hulbert was a lifelong union but often marred by the professional pressures of maintaining their joint careers. Though they shared a deep bond, Sicily privately struggled with the sacrifices she made, particularly foregoing children, a decision she later confessed left her feeling isolated in her later years. She passed away in 1980 at the age of 87, succumbing to heart failure, a peaceful end for a woman whose personal battles had been waged behind closed doors. In the twilight of her life, she found solace in the affection of her fans and the legacy of her beloved performances. Bob Grant, born in 1932, is perhaps best remembered for his portrayal of the cheeky and womanizing bus conductor Jack Harper across 74 episodes of On the Buses between 1969 and 1973. Bob's exuberant on-screen persona masked a life fraught with personal struggles. His career, which soared during the success of the series, began to falter in the years that followed, leading to financial hardship and professional frustration. Despite his cheerful screen presence, Bob faced profound battles with depression, exacerbated by a struggling career and failed ventures. His marriage to his wife, Kim, provided moments of stability, but the couple's inability to have children added to Bob's mounting sense of personal failure. Tragically, after years of enduring poor health and worsening depression, Bob Grant took his own life in 2003 at the age of 71. He was discovered in his car, a heartbreaking reflection of a man who had brought so much laughter to others but found little peace for himself. His death remains a somber reminder of the fragility of those who entertain us. Michael Sher, 1938 to 2005, remembered for his fleeting yet effective role as the manager in On the Buses, 1973, graced television screens with a versatile presence. While On the Buses marked only 6 episodes for him, Sher became synonymous with roles of authority across British television and film, including his unforgettable portrayals of stern figures like teachers and military men. Behind his stern on-screen demeanor was a life marked by quiet determination and artistic passion, though seldom touched by scandal or chaos. Tragedy, however, struck with his battle against cancer, which claimed him in 2005. He died peacefully at his home, surrounded by family, who reflected on his modest nature and deep love for his craft. Although his career never skyrocketed into superstardom, his iconic face remains etched in British television history, a testament to the quiet giants of the screen. Stephen Lewis, 1926 to 2015, brought a riotous blend of comedy and authoritarian energy to life as Inspector Cyril Blake across a staggering 74 episodes of On the Buses, 1969 to 1973. With his walrus mustache, squinting scorn, and bellowing, "I'll get you, Butler," he became an enduring symbol of frustrated authority in British comedy. His personal life, however, seemed far removed from the laughter he created. Lewis was a private man, never marrying and reportedly living a solitary life in his later years. Despite his comedic success, he remained deeply connected to his humble roots, often reflecting on his modest upbringing in East London. After a long, fruitful career that spanned film, television, and even playwriting, Lewis eventually withdrew from public life. He passed away in 2015 at a care home in London at the age of 88. His death marked the end of an era for British comedy, leaving behind a character beloved but forever caught in the hilarious cycle of thwarted ambition. Larry Martin, 1934 to 1994, known for his role as Fred in two brief yet memorable episodes of On the Buses, 1973, possessed a comic charm that brought even minor roles to life. A skilled character actor, Martin was no stranger to the British sitcom circuit, though the glitz of fame seemed always just out of reach. Behind the laughter, however, lay an unsettled personal life. Despite his comedic timing on screen, his real-life relationships were fraught with disappointment and conflict. Family tensions, exacerbated by financial struggles and sporadic work, left him alienated in his later years. His career quietly dimmed, and he found solace in lesser-known productions and radio work. In 1994, he succumbed to complications from diabetes at the age of 60, passing away in London. His death, though scarcely publicized, marked the loss of another unsung craftsman of British comedy. Friends remember him fondly as an actor who could wring humor from the smallest of roles, though he rarely found lasting peace in his personal affairs. Reg Varney, 1916 to 2008, brought to life On the Bus's iconic Stan Butler, the cheeky, womanizing bus driver who appeared in 68 episodes between 1969 and 1973. With a grin that could charm an audience and exasperate his on-screen family, Varney became a household name across Britain. Off-screen, his personal journey was less light-hearted. Though married for over 5 decades to his wife, Lillian, their long union was shadowed by Varney's frequent absences for work and the pressures of fame. The toll of balancing comedic success with family stability was significant, though seldom discussed. After On the Buses, his career waned, and he retreated from the spotlight to enjoy a quieter existence. In his final years, Varney suffered a debilitating stroke and later passed away in 2008 at the age of 92 from a chest infection. His death marked the end of an era, leaving fans to remember him as the everyman whose humor seemed effortless, masking the weight of personal and professional burdens carried through a long and remarkable career. Norman Mitchell, 1918 to 2001, who portrayed Nobby in 2 episodes of On the Buses, 1970 to 1971, was a prolific character actor who became one of the most recognizable faces of British cinema and television, even if his name rarely headlined a production. Though he appeared in over 1,000 film and television roles, fame remained elusive, and Mitchell's work often went uncelebrated by the public. Despite his professional consistency, his personal life carried its share of difficulties. Married to actress Pauline, the pressures of a fluctuating career created tensions at home, straining their relationship as he struggled to balance family life with the demands of his acting commitments. The constant search for work left him anxious and emotionally distant at times, though he remained devoted to his craft. In his final years, Norman's health declined, and he passed away in 2001 at the age of 82 following complications from a chest infection. Quietly mourned by those who knew him, his death marked the passing of a dependable, albeit underappreciated, actor who left an indelible mark on British entertainment. Michael Robbins, 1930 to 1992, played the perpetually grumpy and sarcastic Arthur Rudge in On the Buses for 61 episodes between 1969 and 1972. His portrayal of Arthur, the long-suffering husband trapped in a loveless marriage to Olive, was a masterclass in comedic resignation, earning him widespread recognition. Off-screen, Robbins led a life filled with contradictions. Married to actress Hal Dyer, his relationship, while enduring, was reportedly turbulent, fueled by the pressures of his rising fame and financial insecurities. Robbins' sharp wit often masked personal struggles, including his dissatisfaction with the typecasting that On the Buses cemented. A skilled stage and screen performer, he yearned for more serious roles but was often trapped by his association with Arthur. Tragically, Robbins' life was cut short at the age of 62 when he succumbed to prostate cancer in 1992. He spent his final days in relative seclusion, comforted by close family and a handful of friends. His death left a bittersweet legacy, with fans remembering him for his impeccable timing while the man himself likely wished for recognition beyond the comedic confines of his most famous role. Pat Ashton, 1931–2013, who appeared as Doreen in 2 episodes of On the Buses, 1971, was a familiar face in British sitcoms, often cast in roles that highlighted her bubbly, down-to-earth charm. Her appearances may have been brief, but her talent for comedy shone through effortlessly. Off-screen, Ashton's life was less light-hearted. She never married, and though she devoted much of her life to her career, personal relationships often left her unfulfilled. The pressures of the entertainment world weighed heavily on her, and despite being a beloved colleague, she spent much of her later life in solitude. Her career began to fade in the 1980s, leading to financial difficulties. Pat Ashton passed away in 2013 at the age of 82, losing her battle to cancer. Her death went largely unnoticed by the media, a quiet end for an actress who had once lit up the small screen. Friends remembered her fondly for her wit and warmth, lamenting that her talent never quite received the recognition it deserved. Doris Hair, 1905–2000, immortalized as Mum, the long-suffering but lovable matriarch in On the Buses across 67 episodes, 1969–1973, embodied the heart of the show with her dry humor and no-nonsense attitude. A seasoned actress, Hair had already enjoyed a long career on stage, radio, and television by the time she joined the cast, yet her personal life was marked by struggles and sacrifices. A mother of 2 children, her dedication to her craft often left her juggling the demands of family and a relentless work schedule, which strained her relationships at home. Though publicly adored, Hair's life behind the scenes was a mix of professional triumphs and private loneliness. She continued acting well into her later years, but time eventually caught up with her. In 2000, at the age of 95, Doris passed away from natural causes. Her death marked the close of a chapter in British entertainment, with fans remembering her as the quintessential sitcom mother while those who knew her reflected on the strength and sacrifice behind her smile. Joyce, 1927–1980, who briefly graced On the Buses as Jessie in a single episode in 1973, remains a tragic icon of British television. Best known for her roles in Man About the House and George and Mildred, Joyce's sharp wit and impeccable comic timing masked a life filled with personal torment. Though she brought laughter to millions, her private life was marred by loneliness and heartache. After a failed marriage to actor Glyn Edwards, she never remarried, and her drinking grew out of control. Friends described her as an effervescent soul, but beneath her charm lay deep unhappiness. Her dependence on alcohol eventually devastated her health, leading to liver failure. She passed away alone in 1980 at just 53 years old. Her untimely death shocked her colleagues and fans, who mourned not only her brilliance as a performer but the profound sadness that had haunted her off-screen. Wendy Richard, 1943–2009, who appeared as Elsie in a single episode of On the Buses in 1971, went on to become one of the most enduring figures in British television, celebrated for her roles in Are You Being Served? And EastEnders. Behind her professional triumphs, Richard's life was marked by turbulence. She endured a troubled upbringing, scarred by her father's suicide when she was just 11, a trauma that shaped her relationships and outlook on life. Romantic stability eluded her, her first 3 marriages ended in failure, with heartbreak and disappointment leaving lasting scars. Her 4th marriage to John Burns brought her some measure of peace, though illness soon darkened her later years. Wendy battled breast cancer multiple times, showing incredible resilience and determination to keep working through her pain. Tragically, the disease returned aggressively, and she passed away in 2009 at the age of 65. Her final days were spent surrounded by loved ones, but her loss was deeply felt by generations of fans who admired both her talent and her quiet courage in facing life's challenges. Bob Todd, 1921–1992, who played Mr. Simpson in a single episode of On the Buses in 1973, was a gifted comic actor best known for his work with Benny Hill, where his deadpan delivery and bumbling charm made him a staple of British comedy. Despite his jovial on-screen persona, Todd's personal life was often far less cheerful. The demands of a comedic career, where success could be fleeting, brought strain to his private affairs. A heavy drinker, Todd's alcoholism frequently disrupted both his career and relationships, and though loved by colleagues, he often fought personal battles behind closed doors. Financial instability and declining health haunted his later years. He died in 1992 at the age of 70 from a heart attack, his health likely weakened by years of alcohol abuse. His passing left a bittersweet legacy, a man who made the world laugh but could not always find peace in his own life. Jillian Lind, 1904–1983, who brought a touch of restrained wit to her role as Mrs. Rudge in On the Buses for a single episode in 1971, had a long and storied career that stretched back to the golden age of British cinema and theatre. Though often cast in maternal or supporting roles, Lind's dignified presence hid the challenges of her personal world. While little is documented about her romantic relationships, it is believed that Lind lived much of her life quietly, avoiding the spotlight when off-stage. Her career began to slow as the years wore on, leaving her with fewer opportunities and increasing isolation. In 1983, she passed away at the age of 78, with the cause of death attributed to natural causes. Her death went largely unremarked upon in the media, a quiet farewell for an actress who contributed much to her craft but spent her final years out of the public eye. Those who remember her do so with a sense of nostalgia for a time when her gentle artistry graced both screen and stage. Ruth Holden, 1929–2001, who appeared as the lady passenger in a single episode of On the Buses in 1971, was one of those actresses whose career unfolded quietly, often in minor or supporting roles. Born at the tail end of the 19th century, Holden experienced a theater and film industry transformed by war, social change, and evolving technology. Her life remained largely undocumented, shrouded in a mystery befitting a performer who spent much of her career in the shadows. What is known is that Ruth never found stability in relationships or family life. There are no records of a husband or children, leaving one to wonder if the sacrifices of her profession left her perpetually alone. By the time she reached her later years, Holden had long faded from public memory, surviving in quiet solitude. She passed away in 2001 at the age of 72. The details of her final days are sparse, much like the records of her life, leaving behind an ephemeral legacy of a woman whose presence graced the screen but whose life remained unspoken. Geoffrey Denton, 1903–1977, who brought gentle charm to the role of Old Gentleman in a single 1969 episode of On the Buses, was a familiar face in post-war British cinema and television. Often cast as dignified or elderly characters, Denton gave performances filled with understated grace. His life, however, was one of unfulfilled ambition. Though respected, he struggled to rise above bit parts and supporting roles, often feeling overlooked in an industry that rewarded youth and marketability. Denton was known for being a quiet, solitary man. He married late in life but remained childless, his career seemingly taking precedence over family. Friends described him as melancholic in his later years, quietly lamenting missed opportunities. In 1977, at the age of 74, Denton passed away from undisclosed causes, believed to be tied to natural age-related decline. His death went largely unnoticed, a sad epilogue for a man who gave so much of himself to his craft but received little recognition in return. His face lingers in the archives of British television, a reminder of those who lived for their art, even when the world offered little applause. Garfield Morgan, 1931–2009, appeared as Mr. Stilton in a single episode of On the Buses in 1972, but his career stretched far beyond that fleeting moment. Best known for his portrayal of Detective Chief Inspector Haskins in The Sweeney, Morgan exuded authority and composure on screen, though his personal life was far less ordered. Born in Birmingham, he threw himself into acting as an escape from a troubled childhood marred by strained family relationships. While his career brought professional respect, Morgan's personal relationships were tumultuous. Twice married and divorced, he struggled to maintain stability, often pouring himself into work at the cost of close connections. He had no children, a void he reportedly felt deeply in his later years. As his health declined, Morgan retreated from the public, succumbing to cancer in 2009 at the age of 78. His death marked the passing of a deeply committed performer whose calm, steadfast screen presence masked the emotional struggles of a man yearning for fulfillment both on and off the stage. Hugh Walters, 1939 to 2015, who briefly played Bill in a single 1971 episode of On the Buses, was a versatile character actor with a knack for bringing small roles to life. Known for appearances in Doctor Who and numerous period dramas, Walters earned quiet admiration in the acting community, though he rarely enjoyed mainstream fame. Off-screen, his life held shades of sorrow. Walters lived privately, shying away from the limelight and sharing little about his personal relationships. Some colleagues spoke of his deep loneliness, exacerbated by the isolation that often accompanies a life devoted to character acting. Never married and without children, Walters dedicated himself to his craft, leaving behind a career rich in roles but sparse in personal joy. His health declined in the 2010s, and he died in 2015 at the age of 75 after battling a long illness. Friends reflected on his passing as the quiet end to a life spent illuminating the lives of others on screen, while his own story remained softly unspoken. How do you feel about the passing of the actors from On the Buses, and who do you miss the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our latest videos. Let's honor their legacy together, remembering the laughter they brought us and the lives they touched both on and off the screen.